From reinterpreting and adapting Khasi folklore and narratives into contemporary context, to the very suave actor and director who's featured alongside the well-known Adil Hussain, and the actor and comedian behind some of television's finest films. This week is all about acting. Well, hello to all our viewers and welcome to Showtime. I'm your host, Lyngdoh. Now, my first guest is a theatre artist based in Shillong. She's trained under the National School of Drama, New Delhi, and the Comedia School in Copenhagen. Her one-of-a-kind productions investigate notions of identity, gender, and transcultural relations. Well, say hello to the very talented LAPDIANG ARTIMAI SYIEM. Well, LAPDIANG, I always thought that acting is breathing the character. I suppose you have a different point of view.
Thank you, Aaron. It's really good to be here. You'll be surprised to hear that I don't actually. You have it perfectly right. That acting is breathing a character. And just to share something with you, when I was in training at the National School of Drama, we were trained in this particular art form, which is called Kudiyatam, which originates from Kerala. And it's one of the oldest performing acting traditions or theatre traditions that we have in this country. And I remember my guru, he taught us about how important the breath is in acting. We learned all these different, how to express. How do you give life to all these different emotions? We learned the navras, or the 9 emotions that you express. And we studied how the breath works, with the emotion of anger, with jealousy, with sadness, with disgust, with fear. And it was always the breath that would lead these emotions. And actually, for me as an actor, I think once you understand how a character breathes, that itself, you've already unlocked so much of what the character study is all about. So definitely, breath is acting is mainly about the breath.
Let's dwell a little on your most recent ongoing work, Nganhyar Shawa. That means I'm going down to the river.
So Nganhyar Shawa, which is a Khasi phrase for I'm going down to the river, was a project that was completed last year, and it was really in the midst of the pandemic. So briefly about the project, it is a project about the river the Umkra that flows through the city of Shillong. And I was, for a long time, as we all were, I was stuck at home. And this river, so my house is actually built on a cliff called Riat Samthia, which overlooks the river Umkra. And days when I was in quarantine, I would go out into the terrace and I would see the river. And as an artist, I really wanted to look deeper into my relationship with the river, because sadly, the Umkra has become so polluted. It almost resembles a drain in many parts of the city. And it made me realize, what are we doing to these water bodies, And as an artist, I thought, how do I respond to this? I'm stuck at home. There's no way out. There's no way for a performance. And this seemed like the best platform. So we created different stories associated with Umkra. We would shoot them at home. We worked with a very small team. Most of it was sort of conceptualized in the house. When we had opportunities, like early in the morning when there was no one, we visited the different tributaries and we would capture the stories that existed around the different tributaries that make up the river Umkra. So I'm going down to the river is really about that.
So, a graduate in plant biology to professional acting. Now, walk us through the transition.
Well, I did start my bachelor's was in plant biology and biotechnology. And initially, I thought, I would take up environmental science for my master's and study that. But when I was in college in Chennai, I was at Women's Christian College. They had a very active theater club, the drama club, and I joined the club. And at the same time, they had these annual theater productions that the college would do, and they would get very interesting, amazing directors who would come and direct our plays. And I found myself on stage, and I found that I gravitated towards it, and I found that I had a voice, a space where I felt so comfortable in. I was always extremely shy, to the point of being afraid of my own shadow. But somehow, when I discovered the theater, when I discovered the stage, I found a different side to myself that I couldn't let go of. And so being involved in sort of the extracurricular activities that the drama club offered us gave me sort of a way to pursue what has now become my passion. So yeah, of course, I did have to balance my plant biology and biotechnology with my theater, definitely. And sometimes I think maybe, I have a way of probably thinking a little, sometimes very logical about things. And I know they say, artists, they're very artistic, and but somehow maybe my training in the sciences, like in botany, gave me some sort of a focus as well that I probably use in my artistic life.
You've studied and performed widely around the country and abroad. Why did you feel the need to come back?
I've often asked myself this a couple of times. One is I was feeling very homesick for a long time. I was in Scandinavia, in Copenhagen, and it was very cold, extremely cold. If anybody were to visit Scandinavia, especially during the winters, you're just, it was so cold. And I also felt I felt that I was getting lost in. I needed to understand myself as an artist, my identity, and home for me. Coming back home and finding my stories here, finding where I stood as an artist, finding how relevant my training would be coming back home. That's what brought me back. And it's not to say that I'm here in Shillong and I don't move out. I still travel. I still work on performances, but I somehow felt I really needed to discover where my roots are. And who knows, maybe I don't stay here forever. Maybe I shift again. I don't know what the future is. But for now, it feels right to be at home and to tell the stories from here that are very close to who I am.
Now, would it be immature on my part to say that theatre acting in the region is still in its nascent stage?
No, not at all. Definitely, just a small example. I don't know if this, if I don't know how this will help, but we have an institution like the National School of Drama, and every year we've got students from all the different states who keep applying and who go there year after year. From Meghalaya, yes, when I applied for it as well, there had been no one from Meghalaya as yet to join the NSD. And after me, I know there's someone who's joined the regional center in Sikkim, which is a one-year course, which is the National School of Drama Regional Center Sikkim. But again, to the NSD, we still have so few, barely nothing, no candidates. maybe perhaps because, here we have other art forms perhaps that interest people. We have the music scene, which is very big, um, in terms of theater. I think we really need to work a lot harder. I know there were the existence of different theater groups, like the Untitled Chapter Club, or even SBO, Sengbiriao Khasi. And I know Joai also has a very active theater scene. They have the Bampalar Festival. But in terms of really looking at theater as a viable profession in the arts, a training institution, further sort of like you have bachelor's of music or painting, how about theater? We are yet to sort of include that very strongly in our curriculums, whether it's school, whether it's college, whether it's the university. So definitely it is at its very nascent stage, a lot of potential. I've been taking workshops with a lot of different colleges and different groups. There's a lot of potential. I think we just need the support for it to grow.
Your productions investigate notions of identity, gender, transcultural relations. Why the inclination?
I think these are questions that in terms of gender and identity, these are natural questions that I felt inclined to address through my work. I think it's so important to break the stereotypes, that the conventions that we have about gender, about identity, and with transcultural relationships. I've done a project, or I'm still actually working on this project, the Welsh Khasi cultural dialogues. And as you know, Christianity came into the Khasi Hills through the Welsh missionaries, with Thomas Jones coming here in 1841. And recently, I've been working with a group of a director and performers from the University of South Wales, where we look at this transcultural relationship, where we have a history of the missionaries coming here and bringing in Christianity. At the same time, what else has been lost or taken away from our culture by the coming in of something new, of something different. And by going back to that history and also examining this transcultural relationship of Wales and the Khasi Hills or Meghalaya, how do we start to ask questions again about the past, and how does it affect our present?
Now, some of your Instagram posts suggest that your mom has been your inspiration and your constant. Very endearing. Well, tell us more.
My mom is a writer, a poet, and she has been so important in my life. First of all, to support me in my journey, joining theater or considering the arts as a profession is something that not everybody, not every family, and not every parent would be so accommodating about, or be so accepting. And I faced a lot of issues from so many different people when I said I wanted to be an actor. But my mother, I think, through the work that she does, through the stories that she tells, has really inspired me. So the Khasi community, we're an oral culture, we're an oral community, and again, the written script. So our written script is the Roman script, or it was the alphabet that the Welsh missionaries had brought to us. But as a community, we still are an oral culture. We have our folk tales, our myths, our stories that are so, even today, still passed on from one generation to the other. And we still remember these stories. My mother has always been influential in reminding us about these stories, and her work as a poet is looking back at these stories and sort of reinterpreting them through poetry, writing them down, whether it's stories about Ulum Sokpet Beneng or Limbot Limbiang, the naked rooster who calls out the sun. she looks at these stories and she interprets them through poetry. And I find it so fascinating then for me to look at these poems and to again, another level of reinterpretation through performance. How do I bring out the story of Nok Kalikai alive once again in today's generation? How relevant is that story again, or many different stories? And my mom has always been a very important factor in what she does in keeping these stories alive and giving scope for new interpretations and new readings.
Now, how do you see theatre acting gaining momentum in the future?
I think, as I said, it has a lot of potential. Through the different workshops I've been able to conduct in various colleges, like St. Anthony's College or St. Mary's College, UCC College. I think, and also, the world is becoming smaller. There are so many possibilities at our doorstep. We have the digital technology, which connects you so fast, to things that are happening on the world. I see there's a lot of scope, but I also hope that as a generation, we're so used to immediately rushing to come up with the perfect product that we forget the process behind it, the training behind it, the work that goes into it. And it's so important to also maybe for to have sort of the right infrastructure and the support to also help sort of the whole process of acting. And I know, films as well, so many new films are coming up, and there's when people think of acting, they immediately relate to films. Of course, it's so much more than that as well. But I do think there is a lot of potential, and I think it needs a lot of work also from our part. I know I see my responsibility in this, where I cannot be selfish about my work, but I need to reach out as well and train young students, young minds who are interested in this, make an effort in a way. So yes, I see a lot of hope.
And when do we see LAPDIANG enthralling us with what she does best, and that is acting?
Soon, I hope, with the state we are in with the pandemic. It's been so difficult for theatre spaces to be open and to have public shows again. We do have the digital space. I am continuing to work on new projects, actually, but at the moment it's still, we're still connecting through the digital space. So if we're looking at live theatre, we may have to wait for some more time, hopefully for things to settle, for this virus to go away.
Well, her performance sends chills down my spine every time I see her perform. And I mean that in the best possible way. The word is transfixed. LAPDIANG, what a pleasure. We'll take a quick breather here. We shall return with another celebrated acting virtuoso whose craft precedes him. Stay right there. Welcome back to Showtime, viewers. My next guest is a professional actor who, in his own words, is still chasing his dreams to be one of the best actors. And in my universe, I find that exceptionally humbling. Ladies and gents, brace yourselves for none other but the man himself, ELIZER, EDREA, RANDELL, BAREH. First of all, ELIZER, welcome to Showtime.
It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank you to you.
All right, so first of all, my first question. So ELIZER BAREH, an actor and director, what is the upside to be able to do both the things?
I mean, acting is my priority, but directing is something that, that I want to tell a story from a director point of view. I mean, at the end of the day, the actor will do his job, which, he'll make the film look better, but as a director, there's a certain way to tell a story and to connect with the viewers or, the audience. So for me, it's very important on both things right now. Both of them are my priority. If I don't act, but I love directing because I see certain things behind the camera which an actor cannot see. So, yeah.
For how long have you wanted to be an actor? Did it happen to you quite early? When did it all happen?
I mean, I had a thing for acting, but when I was small, I was just, doing these small concerts in school.
Okay.
Then I grew up, and when I finished studies, I'm like, no, I need to get into acting. There's something about acting that I really want. That's how I started, and I got to theater.
Okay.
And theater was just mind-blowing because, the live shows, the audience.
Was that all in Shillong itself?
No, it was in Bangalore Christ University.
Okay.
And we were the second batch. It just introduced theater at that time itself. So there was like the first production. I got a chance to play as a protagonist, which the HOD loves me so much. He hates me, but when I start acting, it's like...
You found yourself.
Yeah. So, yeah, what you just said is very important also. Like the day you find yourself is the day that, you'll be the happiest person ever in this whole wide world. And I found myself there. I'm like, this is who I need to be.
So, out of curiosity, what kind of script will get a yes from yourself?
Obviously, I love things that is realistic, relatable, and that can change the world. So that script is 100%. You give me that script, be it a character, whatever you want to portray that character as, I don't know, it depends on the script writer, but something which is relatable, it's realistic, and which can change the world in many ways, then yes, it's a big yes from me.
So whom are you inspired by, and how does it reflect in your craft?
I mean, I lean more into the Hollywood side, but you have to look at somebody from here.
Okay.
And it's such an honor and a huge privilege for me to to get a chance to work with Sir Adil Hussain.
Okay.
We worked in the same movie, and he gave us a workshop for almost 10 days based on method acting, on so many things, and that's why I think I get inspired by him because, coming from here, and he's so big right now, playing big roles, being in big movies. So I look up to him. But, there's always an idol, but he inspires me a lot.
All right. So what's method acting?
Method acting is something that, you have to prepare yourself. You have to be the character. You can't be, this is ELIZER right now. If I have to get into character, I'm not going to speak like this. If I have a character which is, let's say, a guy who's a drug abuse, who's very shady, who's thin, who's always can't speak. I'm giving an example, even if you ask me a question, my head is always down. And that stays for a very long time. Once you get into character, method is so important that you're so into it that even outside also you start talking to people like that, you start behaving.
It stays with you.
And there's so much of research, there's so much of homework. At least 3 to 4 months before the shoot, you have to, learn or maybe meet somebody who's like that. Even if you hate that person,
Fascinating.
you have to love that character because you're trying to tell their story. And when you know it, you just love that person because that is method acting. You just love the person so much that you want to be them. And it's very hard to get out of it. So that is method acting. It's not just, I can go tomorrow's
And
shoot
show
day,
up. Yeah, it's not
I'll
like
act.
that.
No, it's nothing like that. You have to sacrifice. Even Sometimes you have to look good, you have to build up. There are characters which you can look good, but some characters you have to look very, very shady. You have to look terrible so that people can relate. So that is
it's
nice.
all about breathing the character.
Yeah, it's all about him. It's all about him.
So what is your favorite film or short film that you've done so far? I understand it'll be unfair to the other films that you've done, but still,
Yeah.
is there a favorite?
I mean, I've done. You know, with learning every day, you know, trying to learn this, that. I've done few short films which I've directed, I've acted by myself, but I feel the last monologue is something that is very strong, and we were the winners at the LFC at Shorted India. It's a big platform for short films. I mean, big people are there as well, and it's an honor and a privilege to have won the competition, because you know, competing with big fellows who are really good, and to be there, such an honor, and I'm humbled to have got the chance.
So do you feel that regional actors lack opportunity and exposure?
Yeah. The thing is, like I always say, like, you know, I'm not gonna blame the industry for not looking at us, but also it's because they're not giving a chance to Northeast actors. Like, you know, like come. Like, I would suggest Netflix to come to Northeast. Why don't you make an original Netflix based on the Northeast?
I agree. Yes.
You know, the language. Why always the mainstream
yeah.
Hindi language? I mean, I love what they're doing, but they're not coming and trying something new with us, the Northeast people.
Yes.
Maybe when we get that, then the experience starts. Then people will start showing up. But you know, without experience, without not knowing what acting really is, that's how people are not looking into the regional actors, because they think they lack experience, they think they cannot do it. But give us a try, and maybe an original Netflix should come and you know, make a film, and maybe from there it can be a start for, and it can be something good also. So it lacks opportunities, but I think our actors itself should know what acting really is. So first thing is that.
All right. Well, so since we're talking mainstream, if you have to introduce Bollywood to somebody who doesn't even know what Bollywood is, how would you put that verbally?
I would say it's colorful.
Okay.
There should be music and happy ending.
A happy ending.
Yeah, because Bollywood is all about, you know, making people feel good. You know, like feel good. Like Indies are different. Indie films are different, but Bollywood is like making people feel good. Like, you know, that is their life. So I would somehow articulate and
See, a lot of movies, probably 21st century, and probably a lot of the younger generation are being misled by the fact that it's just about glamour. Is it just about glamour?
see what we see on TV is all about that. But if, you know, we're not all, we're not them. So why do you want to be so glamour when I understand the world is all about that right now. This era, this generation is all about glam, is all about, you know. But as a detail actor, if you want to stand out from the rest, it's not about that. It's not about how good looking you are. It's, you know, nowadays it's about a character. You know, it's about a character, and your talent is very important. And being loyal to your craft. It's not the glamour. Glamour will come to you later, not when you just start and you feel like, oh, I'm an actor. I should be like how I see these people on TV. But like I said, glamour will come to you maybe when you have hit the mark.
Yeah.
But right now it's all about, you know, being loyal to your craft. It's all about your talent. It's all about hard work. It's all about coming from here. It's not about looks. It's all about a character. If you can perform, if you can really talk to the people through the character, I mean, anybody can just come to you. So yeah.
So how would you aptly define ELIZER BAREH as an actor?
I mean, that's a hard question. Well, ELIZER is somebody who would just, would love to act anywhere at any point of time when you tell him to do that, and would love to change the world through certain characters which are very important in this world.
And offline you mentioned that you're still chasing your dream. To me personally, I find that very humbling.
Yes.
What is the dream?
I mean, for me, like, I know this might sound stupid to some, but for me, I really want to be in Hollywood. That has been the biggest dream till now. Like, that's my goal. Like, I know it's gonna take some time. I know there's a lot of work to be done because those guys are masters. Like, we are still babies. Like,
Let me tell you, it's not even stupid to dream big.
Yeah, I know, but to some it might sound.
Yeah.
But Hollywood is, I love Hollywood so much. It's because I think they're very advanced and the acting style is so strong that you feel them, you feel the character, you feel the movie every time.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, and I hope and I wish that one day that will come true.
Best of luck with that.
Thank you so much.
Now, if you were to advise somebody who's aspiring to become an actor in life, what advice would you have?
Work really hard, be loyal to your craft, and just do your thing. Don't hurry things up and be patient with life. Nothing comes easy. Even if you think like, oh man, nobody is looking at me, that you're already giving up. But if you just keep doing it, it doesn't matter. Maybe your family might just like you, but just keep doing it. And one day, you will get what you want.
So before you perform for us,
Yes.
I have my last question for you. Give us a little bit of a sneak peek into your future and your coming projects.
All right. So the recent one, which is going to be released very soon. So it's about the name of the movie is 14/8. It's a date.
Okay.
When there's a big incident happened on that day, 14/8. And about the character, I love this character so much. I don't have to dive deep about so much into method, but why I love this guy is because I can relate, because this guy deals with so much of struggle. He's chasing his dreams and he's doing his thing. He doesn't like any other stuff but his thing only, which is he works out, he has a gym, he trains people. He's on his own, like he's on his own.
Okay.
And he's trying to break that bread and make that bread at the same time. But the thing about him is that he doesn't give up. He hit one obstacle, and then when he breaks it, and then another one is there.
Wow.
So this guy he loves helping people so much that there's this on this day, 14/8, which year I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay.
An incident happened, and I think that's pretty much about it.
Well, that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Well, ELIZER, BAREH, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Very
Thank you to you.
insightful. I wish you the best of luck with this project you just spoke about and other projects coming in the future. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you to you, and thank you for having me.
Now, I'll again quote ELIZER. He said, "Be loyal to your craft. Your time will come." Now let those words sink in. ELIZER, thank you for dropping by. We will take another short break before I let you meet the actor whose sublime acting and comedic timing is simply immaculate. Don't go anywhere. Now, welcome back, viewers. My next guest this week has graced the stage and the screen alike with her performances in films like Act Zone, Guthi, and in the Netflix Indian adaptation of Call My Agent. Her short film, Succulent, was screened at the Dharamshala International Film Festival and is still doing the rounds at various other film festivals, presenting the very lovely MERENLA IMSONG. Well, MERENLA, you said in one of your speeches that performance is very liberating. Now, elaborate that for us, please.
Well, I mean, I think this is from the performing perception speech that's up on YouTube, right? Yeah, it's very liberating because you have you're just given the option to do whatever you want, and you can sort of get away with it also, and all your masked emotions, they come out. You're allowed to express and reach out to emotions that you normally don't even reach out to on a normal, regular basis. So performing is very liberating that way, I guess, yeah.
Tell us a little bit of yourself and your background.
Well, I'm a science student. I studied science. My parents thought I was going to become a doctor, but that didn't happen. And then they thought I was going to become an IAS officer, and that also did not happen. And then now they're just like, yeah, she's just cruising through life, So I'm just like, yeah, disappointed my parents in so many levels. But somehow they're disappointed, and they're also not disappointed in me at the same time. I've always enjoyed performing in front of, classmates and family, like when family members, ever since I was a kid. But you never think of this as a profession as such. You're just like, oh, this is a hobby. But I decided to actually work on it because everyone used to tell me they were all, when I did my master's as well, and I remember all the hostel girls were just like, she's not in the right profession. She's not supposed to be sitting in a lab and dissecting frogs. That's not, what she should be doing. And finally, I had the guts to give up everything and try to become an actor. It's been a very long journey, actually.
How and when exactly did you realize you had the passion for acting?
I've always enjoyed acting. I've always known I have a passion for acting, but it just took me that extra push. Someone had to push me towards this direction, and it happened at my uncle and my aunt's house when I went and spent my summer vacation with them. And they saw that I loved entertaining people, and they were like, we can't see you being a government servant sitting behind a desk and writing files. That's not what you're meant to be. You're supposed to perform. You're meant to be a performer. And this was in the UK, and people think very different there. Here, it's like government job. In Nagaland, it's like you are 32 years old and unemployed, it's okay, government job, you're going to sit for exams. And they were like, you're 24, you still don't have a job, what is this, So I got like nice long lecture from them, but they encouraged me. And then I came back and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. But it took myself also a lot of convincing, because I was like, I knew I wanted to be an actor, but then I was kind of embarrassed. I was scared to admit to people, so I would just say, yeah, I want to work in media. I used to say that. So it was like a gradual process. I told my parents I want to be in media. Then like I was like, oh, I want to be in theater. And then it just like, you know what? I want to be an actor. That like it was like a few step process.
Now, why did you feel the need to move to a big city?
I've always wanted to move to a big city. I knew that after my schooling, I would definitely move to a big city. I've always wanted to go out explore, So that was given that. It happened after my 12th. I went straight to Delhi, and it was just. I guess I just took it for granted that after school is done, I'm going to move out of the city, and I was hoping to move abroad as well. Then I was like, let me look at the acting courses. So looked up the acting courses, then I saw the prices for acting, and I was like, I shall just live in India for now.
Now, away from home for a while, how easy or difficult has it been for you in this quest to realize your dreams?
Well, I've been away from my family for a really long time now because I moved to Delhi for my studies. Then, and Delhi is a very comfortable place. You find so many people from the northeast there. We have an entire colony there in Saptarjung enclave. But after I moved to Mumbai, I think that's when the real struggle happened because in Mumbai I just knew one girl in Mumbai, and in Mumbai everyone's busy. Delhi people are vela. You can go hang out with someone and all of that. I came to Mumbai and I realized I can't do vela panti. That's when it really hit that I was like, okay, I'm alone on my own in a completely new city, and that's when I had to work hard and all of that stuff. But it was a struggle and it was not easy. Eating dal and rice for a month and buying, oh gosh, Wibs bread, which was the cheapest bread at that point of time. I used to eat only Wibs bread, and now I can't look at Wibs bread anymore because when I look at Wibs bread, I'm reminded of those days of eating so much Wibs bread to keep my stomach full. Yeah, so yeah.
And just out of curiosity, what do you think of Bollywood?
I mean, what what can I say? There's the commercial aspect of it, but we only focus on the commercial aspect of Bollywood with all the glitz and the glamour, but the Indian film industry as a whole, I mean, you find a lot of gems. There are such amazing filmmakers out there who don't get to see the limelight because they're not like the 300 crore club or the 100 crore club and all of that. I mean, even in even in Meghalaya, you guys have Pradeep Kurba, who like, oh my goodness, I saw Market and I was just like blown away, and I want to watch that film again, but it's just playing in film festivals and not accessible. But so we have those kind of gems. So here and there, you find there are lots of amazing filmmakers out there. It's just that they're not that famous, and they're all in the independent film scene.
Now, coming to the Northeast, how do you perceive the film and acting scene here in the region?
So there's Amis also. I have not watched Amis. But I've worked with the actress of Amis, and oh my, she's so beautiful, such striking eyes, and I've heard so much about that film. And I've been trying to watch that film. I need to I need to borrow someone's Sony Live subscription to watch it. So and we have good filmmakers in the Northeast, and the thing is, when we tell our own stories and stop trying to copy Bollywood or K dramas or whatever it is, then it comes out so authentic and so beautiful. There was one film by this kid. He's just 26 or something, and when he was 24 from Nagaland, he made a film called Ang, and it's a short film, and it traveled. It was the first film from Nagaland to actually travel to film festivals, and it was about the last remaining headhunter in the village who's refusing to convert to Christianity, and it's his story. So it's such a personal story, so it just came out so beautiful. Market was such a beautiful story because it's not pretentious, it's not trying to be anyone, it's just the stories of the people living in that place. So when we tell our own stories, they just come out beautiful. We have talent. We should just tell them from the heart and not try to be too intellectual or not try to add too much masala to it, and it'll just, yeah, we have even Rima Das's Village Rock Stars. It's such a beautiful story. Yeah.
Succulent was screened at the Dharamshala International Film Festival. Tell us a little bit about the film and your role in it.
So Succulent is actually made by my friend Amrita. We've known each other for a while, and then she was supposed to do a play and she got dengue. So when she got dengue, she was bedridden for 10 days, and that's when she had nothing to do, so she wrote the script of Succulent during that time. So it was initially she called it Dengue Dreams, and then she came up with a proper name. And the whole film, it's a short film, and the film was it deals with the concept of selling companionship. So I play a young girl who's employed in an agency who gets hired by different people to go and play their companions. I either go and play someone's grandmother or their sorry, not grandmother, granddaughter or their sister. You know, for missing relatives or missing friends who are not in the city anymore and who live in a different time zone or live in a different city. I go and fill in for their places. So it's kind of eerie also because so supposing you have a sister and your sister lives in America and you miss her, so you sign up for this agency, you tell them everything about your sister, and all of that is download. It's in a PDF file, and then you give some of your sister's clothes, and then next week someone's going to show up at your door, and you're going to someone who does not look like your sister at all, but sort of matches her age description, and that and you're just going to call that girl by your sister's name, and she will pretend like she's your sister. Yeah. So yeah, it was like it has that weird concept, but because it's a film that's quite close to my heart because I saw the filmmaker. It's it's a self-funded film. She borrowed money to make that film, and she was like, she didn't have money to edit, and she was just like, okay, I'm just gonna earn from the side, and whatever extra money she would make, she would just put it into making the film, editing the film, and doing all of that, you know.
So, of all the characters you've played so far, what's that one character you relate most and why?
Uh, well, the character of Nancy that I played and called my agent, that was so relatable because I felt like I was just living out my whole life. You know, it's like whatever I did in the show, whatever all the random auditions that I go to, and all the like hustling and working in South Bombay but living in the suburbs and all of that. I've done all of that. So it was just like, my life. Oh, this is my life. You know, that was very relatable. Mm.
Now, some of Instagram videos suggest that you're more inclined to comedy. Why that inclination, and how open are you to a probability to move out of that zone?
So within Instagram, I see Instagram as an entertaining platform. You know, so it's something to make people laugh, and I love making people laugh. I've always loved making people laugh. So at least for Instagram, I like doing funny stuff. I love satire. That's what I like to stick to when I'm on Instagram. But I know I also face the risk of being stereotyped as the funny person. You know, so if I get hired and they're like, well, you know, character's not supposed to be funny, but hey, you make it funny. You say a joke there, yeah, and. And I realized that happens a lot because I have these, I met these other comedian friends. We were doing a shoot. And then I was like, yeah, would love to see you guys act as well. And they were like, yeah. And then I said, but just be careful because, you know, you might get stereotyped as the funny friend. And that friend was like, you know, that those are the only roles I get, the funny friend. That's the only auditions that I get because you're just taken for granted that you're funny, you know? But I do want to move out. It's just that I don't see Instagram as a space where you do serious stuff.
What suggestions would you give to young, aspiring actors?
Well, first of all, I just want, if people want to be actors, they should want it because they love the art of acting and not because they want to be famous. You know, sometimes people those two people can get those two really mixed up, and you should really want to be an actor because you enjoy being an actor, you enjoy being out there. You enjoy performing, you enjoy the art of performing in front of people, and it's not going to be easy, and you just really need to have a positive outlook in life because this is a career where you have rejection after rejection after rejection.
And MERENLA, before I let you go, what's next for you?
I'm trying to make one of my short stories into an illustrated book, and there's this amazing artist from Arunachal, and we've been doing a little back and forth, and hopefully that will.
You know, one of the hardest things is to bring material from the page to the stage. Well, all my guests on this week's episode are doing precisely just that, but with just a lot more finesse. A big shout out to all three of you for turning every script into gold. This is Showtime. I'm Aaron Lyngdoh. Until next week, take care.